All right. Hello again, adventurers, and welcome to another exciting daily vlog. This is daily vlog number, what are we? 2025, number 87. And today we've got a weird sigil update. So, I talked about in a video a little while ago, Project Sigil, which is the 3D virtual tabletop from Wizards of the Coast, seems to be having some issues. And that's to put it lightly. As the only things that have been officially confirmed, and even that is kind of a bit of a gray area, is they have laid off about 90% of the staff, which is around 30 people. They're gone, including the former manager of Project Sigil, the head developer. I don't remember what his actual title was, but now the rest of D&D YouTube has been going crazy, going, "Oh, Project Sigil's dead. Everybody's gonna die, and the world's gonna explode because Wizards of the Coast is an evil company, and they're gonna take over the world and put slugs into your brains." None of that is true. But firing 90% of the staff on a product that launched in a really unfinished place does not present confidence in the product. Now, mentioned in that video, and I also mentioned during my stream Wednesday night, technically, yes, getting rid of the vast majority of the staff could be a way for them to basically wind down production and slowly get rid of it. It is also possible, I don't know how likely it is, but it's also possible that the production that has been going on thus far has basically been bad enough that they're like, you know what, it's really not worth salvaging the initial idea we had here. We're going to do something brand spanking new. And in situations like that, keeping the former staff can actually cause more problems than it solves. What are you talking about? They have all this experience. Technically, yes, but they have a lot of bad experience. I.e., they've been working on this project for, I don't know how long Sigil's been in production, at least a couple of years. They've been working on this project for a few years, and the systems that were created to create this product are bad. And the processes and the policies that were enacted are bad, and they created a bad product. I don't think anyone can really argue with that statement. If you've tried Sigil, it's not a great product. It has a lot of potential, like it could be very, very cool, but as it is right now, it's mostly a waste of time. So if they were to keep that team, basically that team would have to unlearn all of the bad processes that they've been using for years and then relearn these new processes. And that takes a lot of work. Take it from a trainer. It is significantly, and I mean, when I say significantly, I mean orders of magnitude more difficult to retrain an employee that not only has been trained poorly or trained incorrectly, but has been using that bad training for multiple years, than it is to just start fresh with new employees that you don't have to untrain. So I have postulated that there is a slight possibility that Sigil isn't completely dead. They're just cleaning house because they need to get new blood in there to get it to an actually working spot. And we have a kind of update. At 6 o'clock last night, I got an email from the D&D Beyond team. It said, claim Sigil. I'm going to try this one more time. Claim minis for Sigil, the 3D virtual tabletop. Starting today, we're releasing a series of minis that all players can download and use in Sigil, the 3D virtual tabletop. Download Sigil now if you haven't yet. Claim each mini for $0 on D&D Beyond Marketplace and add it to your collection on Sigil. Here's a breakdown of the releases for the next month. So the two minis the two mini sets that they've given, they have the Dwarven Couture pack, which is basically A Dwarven Armor set for their modular minis, which I actually really like the modular minis. I think they're great. And then the second one, Unclaimed Treasure Pack, which this pack contains the Mimic Digital Mini in 2 unique poses. So it gives you 2 different Mimic minis. And then the ones that are coming later, they have the Animals Pack. This pack contains the Axebeak, Crocodile, Griffin, Mastiff, Panther A, and Panther B digital Mima minis, all unpainted, which we'll talk about in a second. And then that'll be available April 2nd, so next week. And then the Cleanup Crew Pack. This pack contains the Gelatinous Cube digital mini in 2 unique poses. So, as far as I can tell, all of this stuff is free. And all of this stuff is for a product that is effectively dead in the water. That doesn't make sense. And so that's why I personally believe something is going on behind the scenes. If they were just trying to kind of get rid of the back catalog that they were working on, there are better ways to do it. Like a really good example, when Twitch Sings got axed. Moment of silence for the amazing, wonderful thing that was Twitch Sings. Okay, so when Twitch Sings got axed, immediately what happened is all of the songs that they had been working on to put into Twitch Sings, because they would, like, once a month-ish, once every couple of weeks, they would add new songs. And it was actually really, really fun to be on Twitch Sings when they're adding new songs. Because every so often you just go, well, what's new? And you'd browse through the new stuff and go, ooh, I want to sing that. It's super fun. Well, when Twitch Sings got canned, they just put all of the new songs out and said, hey, by the way, this thing's gone in 6 months. So enjoy all this stuff that we've done, but it's over, it's done with. And a lot of times when you see, like, a lot of the things that I like are just dying right now. Like Final Fantasy Brave Exvius was a mobile game that I used to really, really enjoy because it was Final Fantasy, and you'd form these little teams, and then you'd do. It was really fun. Like it genuinely, I really, really enjoyed it. It's gone. I just got a notification recently, the successor to that, which was War of the Visions, Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, where Brave Exvius was kind of turn-based combat. War of the Visions was like, what's it called? Final Fantasy Tactics style combat, where you have like a map and you move them around and stuff like that. It's seriously fun. It's gone in a few months. And generally what happens when that happens, anything that they have left in the hopper, they just go, here, you can have it. Go ahead. We're not doing anything else for the remainder of this thing. And that's not what's happening with Sigil. They're doing a release schedule where they're releasing stuff now, they're releasing stuff next week, they're releasing stuff the week after. And there's been no announcement, no anything from Wizards of the Coast or D&D Beyond that, hey, Sigil is going down or anything like that. Now, does that mean that it's definitely going to continue? Absolutely not. However, this particular thing does point to the idea that Sigil is not dead yet. I'm not saying that, oh, no, it's definitely going to be a thing. This might be them trying to regain interest in the things like that. They're trying to basically hype it up again to pitch the higher-ups going, hey, I realize you guys are not happy with Sigil right now, but when we do this, look at the excitement it generates, look at that. I think we need to reinvest in Sigil. It can still be a cool thing. That is a real thing that happens in businesses, where when something is about to be on the chopping block, the people that are involved in it will go, hey, let's do this, and this, and then they will do everything they can to go, hey, look, if you just give us a little bit more time, give us a little bit more money, this will become profitable. And it sometimes works and it sometimes doesn't. A lot of it depends, first of all, on how effective the thing was, and second of all, how effective the arguments are from the people that want to keep it going. So my theory, again, I have no contacts at Wizards of the Coast. I know nobody at D&D Beyond. I am completely isolated from anything like insider information-y type stuff. This is all just me theorizing. But the fact that they're putting this stuff out, the fact that it still looks pretty damn good. Like, say what you want about Sigil, it's very pretty. It doesn't work, but it's very pretty to look at. So the fact that they're putting the house in kind of a delayed release schedule, the fact that they haven't announced any thing when the layoffs happened well over a week ago at this point, to me points to the idea somebody involved doesn't want it dead. Now, again, does that mean that there's no plans to currently cancel Sigil or all these people? No. I think the people that are kind of reading into this are reading into a possible explanation of what's going on. Yes, they're getting rid of Sigil. And this could simply be them going, hey, we made this stuff. Let's just get rid of it. To me, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense because, again, creating 3D digital items, even if you're not going to use it in your particular thing, there's a lot of stuff that they can do with those. Like, they can send them to, print companies and turn them into actual minis and stuff like that, depending on how they were built. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that they could do with these things, and just giving them away for free. I guess you could argue it's like, yeah, they don't care about it, so they're just going to throw them away and throw Sigil away and nothing's going to... Or somebody is working behind the scenes to try and keep Sigil being a thing. Again, they didn't fire the entire Sigil team. They fired the vast majority of the Sigil team. I think the number I have seen is there are like 3 or 4 people that still are on the Sigil team. And again, my theory of cleaning house, because we don't want to use badly trained or incorrectly trained people, because we'd have to untrain them and then retrain them. That might hold water with the idea that they didn't just completely clean house, because there's going to be certain aspects of this thing that you can't really, like, you need people on staff to be able to train the new staff. However, retraining 3 people is significantly easier than retraining 30 people or 33 people. So that might have been kind of the they might have found the exact number of people, like, these are the essential people that we are absolutely going to need if we want to turn this into something. Everybody else, we just don't need you. And again, from my own experience in business, a lot of people's like, well, they fired the director. Like, that must mean that everything... No. From my experience in business, it's not uncommon that if you fuck up really, really bad, they will find someone to blame for it. And generally, it's going to be the lowest person on the totem pole that has enough authority to be blamed for everything. So yeah, the idea that they got rid of the director after they oversaw this flop of a mistake, it doesn't surprise me. Were they justified in doing it? Like, did he deserve to lose his job? I've got no clue. I don't know how many of the bad decisions that were made that created this really unfinished, unfun game were done by him or were done by meddling executives at a higher level. And we will never know that. Even if we get it directly from the former director, I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. They lie. 100%. Mostly because in order to be able to get a job in the same industry after something like this happens, you have to be able to say it wasn't my fault. So I'm sure that the dude's a nice guy or everything like that, but I would not trust him specifically to say what actually happened there, because he doesn't just have a vested interest in finding a way to say that it wasn't his fault. It's if he can't find a way to blame someone else, he'll never work in the industry again. This is a big enough screw up that no one will trust him in a director position. He might be able to work other places. But I went, if I remember correctly, again, this is my Swiss cheese memory, so I may be misremembering things. If I remember correctly, I actually went and looked up his work history, and he seems to be mostly a director management style of a person. I don't think he actually does any programming. Again, I may be wrong about that. That's the thing that stuck out to me from when I was looking up this particular person because I'd never heard of him. And I think almost every single job that he's had in this industry has been director, manager, something akin to that, not an actual programmer or something like that. So it's very, very possible that he was just bad at his job, and that's why he got canned. It could also be that he's the fall man for a ton of issues that happened. Again, it's all speculation. And the likelihood is we are never going to find out what actually happened behind the scenes. But the fact that they're putting out these minis and stuff like that, to me, means something. I don't know what it means yet, but it does mean something. And in my book, it means that Sigil is not dead yet. It may still die. I'm not going to go out and say, no, it's going to be the most amazing thing. It's going to put Tailspire out of business. No. But it doesn't make sense to me that this is the final kind of death thralls of a failed product. This sounds like someone's trying to reignite passion in it. So we will see where it goes. But I thought people might be interested in hearing about that because, again, Sigil's been a big thing in a lot of the kind of anti-D&D YouTubers, which is the majority of D&D YouTubers, have been kind of taking victory laps around. It's like, Wizards of the Coast failed again. Now the company's going to go bankrupt. And I really hate that stuff. Again, I'm not 100% the biggest fan of Wizards of the Coast in the world. Again, I'm not a fan of what they did with 5.5. I think a lot of the stuff that they did made the game worse. I think they pushed it out too fast. I've been critical of quite a few of their products. I stopped doing in-depth reviews of D&D stuff because I got tired of being disappointed with the products that they were putting out. So I am not this like ride or die Wizards of the Coast fan. You know, I will admit when they do things wrong. But overall, I don't think the company is evil. And I have had interactions with a few people on staff there, and they're nice people that are passionate about the game. I've told this story before. I got to meet Chris Perkins at Gen Con one year, and it was an amazing experience. Like, I was just wandering around. There was this thing called a Night in Baldur's Gate where they took the kind of top ballroom of a hotel and turned it into Baldur's Gate. It was massively cool. There was a giant Drizzt cake. There was this massive sword that was there. It was super, super cool. And they invite a lot of people. Like, I got to meet Scott Kurtz there. I got to meet Ed Greenwood, who is another just genuinely wonderful person. And while I was wandering around the floor, I saw this weird-looking dude, and I say this with the utmost respect and dignity. So this weird-looking dude in a baseball cap just kind of wandering around. And I recognized the cap because that is the signature Chris Perkins look. He always has like a baseball cap on. And I love him to death, but he has kind of a weird air about him. He's the coolest guy ever, guys. He really, really is. And so I wander over to him, and I am terrified because this is one of my heroes. He's one of the he is one of the biggest reasons why I became a dungeon master, was emulating Chris Perkins and Acquisitions Incorporated. The first adventure I ever wrote was called D&D High. And it was a parody campaign that was meant to kind of mimic what happens with Acquisitions Incorporated, just in a high school setting instead of a corporate setting. So I come over to him and I go, "Hi, are you Chris Perkins?" And he goes, Yes, hi. It's nice to meet you. I said, "Hi, my name's Jody. I am such a massive fan of Acquisitions Incorporated. It's the reason that I started playing D&D." And he goes, "You know what? We love hearing things like that. Thank you so much." And we had just a brief conversation. I think I asked him because I had printed out my first adventure, my parody adventure, and I just go, "Would you mind? Would you be willing to sign this for me? It's my first adventure that I ever wrote, and I'd like to get the entire Acquisitions Incorporated cast to sign it." He's like, "Yeah, no, I'd love to." And so he signs it, and we're having a conversation. And this dude kind of walks over. He goes, "Hey, Chris, how are you doing?" And Chris goes, "Oh, have you met my friend Jody? Jody, this is," I can't remember the dude's name, but he worked for Paizo. And he goes, "Yeah, I work for Paizo." I said, "Yes, I'm very familiar with Paizo. They do Pathfinder and everything." And I'm like, It's wonderful to meet you." I didn't have the opinion of Pathfinder then that I do now. Um, and so I had this little conversation with actual industry giants. And then I said, after a few minutes of them just talking to me and just kind of humoring the fact that I'm there, I go, I'm gonna let you guys go, but thank you so much for signing this, and it was great meeting you. And I wander off and I go get Scott Kurtz to draw me a Binwin picture. But it was a really, really cool thing. So again, I know of, I don't like it. Chris Perkins does not remember it. And we've had other interactions since then. He used to come down, I think he still does, to GameholeCon every year. And I helped, I didn't help run it, but I was a dungeon master for them. And I don't know if I do anymore, but I used to know almost every convention in like Wisconsin and Northern Illinois. I knew the people that ran the D&D programs for it because it wasn't a massive group. We all knew each other. I ran the D&D stuff for one of the local conventions, so we all kind of knew each other. We all kind of helped out. Like that's just what we did. And so I went over to the dude that was running the GameholeCon stuff, and they were still trying to get set up and everything. And I instantly just went over there and said, "Hey, what do you guys need?" And it's like, "Oh, can you do this and this and this?" And so I got everything set up. Well, Chris Perkins used to run tables. Like he would advertise, "Hey, if you want to play at a table with Chris Perkins." And I remember him coming in and going, "Hey, Mr. Perkins, it's great to see you again." I don't think he remembered me in any way, shape, or form. But we kind of shot the shit for a couple seconds. And I said, "Yeah, I was really hoping that our Critters and Team Human charity event would outraise the Dungeons and Dragons team, but we were just a little bit short. I think they raised like 10 grand or something like that, and we stopped, or maybe it was like 5 grand, and we stopped at like 4 or something that year. But it was so he's a really amazing guy, and again, I believe the majority of the people at Wizard of the Coast are really great people that passionately love Dungeons and Dragons and want it to do well. I also believe there's some people there that don't need to be there, that are actively sabotaging Dungeons and Dragons because they have some kind of vendetta against them. And I think the OGL debacle was a wake-up call for a lot of people when they realized that 90% of the information about it was completely untrue, and their insider sources were lying to their face. Like, it is what it is. But as far as getting back to the idea of Sigil, I'm not willing to give up on Sigil yet. I think there's a possibility that Sigil might still be a thing. It's a long shot. It is the longest of shots. Everything that has been officially confirmed, which is literally just they fired a lot of their staff, it's real easy to interpret that as, yes, Sigil's dead. And I don't... I won't throw shade at people that disagree with me. Nah, Sigil's dead. I will throw shade at people that are going, Sigil's dead and Wizard of the Coast is going to fail and everything is ordered. That's catastrophizing things. It's not going to happen. D&D is still the #1 tabletop RPG in the world. It still outsells literally every other competitor by an order of magnitude. Even the new stuff that isn't selling as well is still selling an order of magnitude more than anything that Paizo has put out. And Paizo is probably the #2 in more ways than one, but the #2 in the market as far as a specific tabletop RPG. Renegade's been doing some crazy stuff because Vampire the Masquerade's doing super, super well, and the World of Darkness stuff is doing super well. The Essence 20 stuff is doing relatively well. They have a new Essence 20 product coming out with Welcome to Night Vale. So, yeah, I think Renegade is I don't know what their sales numbers are actually like, but I think it's possible that they could be, especially when you combine all of their board games and stuff that they do as well. They're probably outselling Paizo. As far as their specific RPG stuff, I don't know if they'd be completely outselling Paizo, but they're probably threatening Paizo with that second place position that everyone's vying for. So yeah, I don't think Wizards of the Coast is dying, and I don't think Sigil is dead yet. It may still die, but I'm gonna err on the side of I'd like to see Sigil become something cool. So we'll see what happens. All right. Interested to hear from you guys. Do you think I'm reading into this because I just don't want to watch it die? Or do you think that this might be a thing? Let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, again, it's all for me today. I will see you guys next time. All right? Bye-bye.